Welcome back to the Whispering Pages Mysteries by Penelope Graves. Let's continue the Whispering Library with Chapter 7, Pattern of Threats. D.I. Thorne arrived at Whispering Pages just after 3 o'clock, and this time he did not pause to take in the shop with polite appraisal. He came in like a man carrying momentum. Ellie was behind the counter with the Orchard Project packet tucked safely inside a folder. Sam hovered nearby with a mug of tea he wasn't drinking, as though caffeine might be required for moral support. Thorne nodded once at Ellie, once at Sam, and then placed a clear evidence bag on the counter. Inside were 3 slips of paper. Ellie leaned forward. "Those are threat notes," Thorne confirmed. "Found in Lumley's home office. 1 in his wastepaper bin, 2 in a drawer. Kept rather than discarded." Ellie's throat tightened. "He kept them," she murmured. "Yes," Thorne said with a note of dry irritation, which suggests he either intended to report them or intended to use them. Ellie tried not to imagine Thomas Lumley keeping threats like dramatic props. Thorne slid the bag closer. "Read," he said. Ellie did. The handwriting was different from the note she'd found. Broader, more hurried. But the phrasing carried the same chilly restraint. "Stop digging. You won't like what you unearth. Some roots are poisonous. Leave the orchard alone." Ellie looked up slowly. Sam made a small sound that might have been a swear word, rethought at the last moment, and came out as, "Oh." Thorne's gaze stayed on Ellie. "You told me about a dedication line," he said. "The orchard." "Yes." "And you said Harrow asked about your signed copy." "Yes." Thorne tapped the evidence bag lightly with one finger. "One of these notes was left inside a book," he said. Ellie's pulse quickened. "Which book?" Thorne's mouth tightened. "A first edition of Rebecca," he said, as though this were personally offensive. He kept it on his shelf, apparently because he enjoyed irony. Ellie stared at the notes again. "Leave the orchard alone." This wasn't Ellie chasing metaphor. This was direct, corroborated, and chillingly specific. "Do you believe they're from the same person?" Ellie asked. "We're having them analyzed," Thorne replied. "Ink, paper stock, indentation patterns. But it's not only handwriting that matters. It's intent." He leaned slightly closer, voice low. "Someone wanted him frightened, controlled, quiet." "And then," Ellie said softly, "someone wanted him dead." Thorne didn't correct her. He didn't need to. Sam shifted, restless. "Is the orchard like a code? Or an actual orchard?" "It was actual," Ellie said, "and that's the problem." Thorne's eyes narrowed. "Explain." Ellie opened the folder she'd prepared and slid the Orchard Project packet across the counter. "I was in the archives with Vi Booth," she said. "This is from a trust acquisitions box. It references Orchard Project, July 1999. Thorne didn't touch it immediately. He read the cover page first, as though proximity might be contagious. Then he picked it up, scanning quickly. Ellie watched his face for shifts. When his eyes caught the line, "Expedite transfer to avoid reputational disturbance," a faint tension appeared at his jaw. "What is this?" he asked, quieter now. "A paper trail," Ellie said, "or what's left of one." She told him about Margaret Ellis, the ladder, the vanished folder, the 2 brief inquest record, the trust's urgency, the plaque on the art screen. Thorne listened without interruption, but Ellie could feel his attention recalibrating. This was no longer a scattered village scandal. This was motive. "You're telling me," he said finally, "that Lumley was pointing to a specific historical incident tied to the Ashwood Trust." "Yes." "And someone went to the trouble of removing the word orchard from his dedication before publication," Thorne said, eyes on the memoir folder, and then left him notes telling him to stop digging. Yes. Thorne exhaled through his nose. Which means, he said, there is something about this incident that someone believes can be proven. Ellie's voice went steady. Exactly. Sam leaned forward. So, that means the missing folder mattered. Margaret Ellis's folder. Thorne's gaze flicked to Sam, then back to Ellie. Or something Lumley found that replaced it, he said. An original map, a letter, a ledger, anything that turns rumor into evidence. Ellie thought of the missing signed copy. A signed copy stolen from her locked cabinet. Not the money, not the first editions, not anything with resale value, just that. Inspector, Ellie said. The signed copy they stole from my cabinet. Yes, Thorne said sharply. I've put a request out to any secondhand sellers, auction houses, and local shops to notify us if one appears. Ellie pressed her fingertips to the counter. They won't sell it, she said. Thorne's eyes narrowed. Why not? Because, Ellie said slowly, if they wanted money, they'd have taken the antiquarian cabinet contents. They wanted the copy because of what might be inside it. Thorne's gaze held hers. You think Lumley used signed copies as delivery vehicles? Ellie nodded. Thomas loved theatrics, she said, but he also loved control. If he was threatened, he might have hidden something where only a particular person would look. Sam looked between them, and that person is Ellie. Thorne's face remained unreadable, but his silence wasn't dismissal this time. It was consideration. Lumley spoke to you, Thorne said, regularly. He bought books, Ellie replied. He enjoyed feeling like a patron of culture. And he gave you a signed copy with an unedited dedication line, Thorne said. Yes. Thorne's gaze dropped to the evidence bag again. Leave the orchard alone. He tapped the bag once, decisively. All right, he said. This is no longer a curious local death with unfortunate timing. This is a directed act. Ellie's stomach tightened. Do you have suspects? She asked. Thorne's mouth flattened. We have a list, he said. People named, implied, or threatened by the memoir. People tied to the trust. People with access to the toxin. People with enough influence to lean on an editor or a publisher. Sam's eyes widened. Lean on a publisher? Thorne's gaze didn't move. I'm not suggesting conspiracy, he said carefully. I'm suggesting pressure, a phone call, a friendly message. Editors are human. Humans prefer quiet. Ellie thought of Lorna's voice shifting on the phone. The moment warmth turned to caution. Quiet. Reputational disturbance. Richard Harrow, Ellie said. Thorne's eyes sharpened. He's on the list. He approached me at the wake, Ellie said. He asked about my signed copy yesterday. He downplayed the orchard like it meant nothing. And yet, Thorne said, someone wrote, leave the orchard alone. Sam's voice was subdued now. That's not subtle. No, Ellie agreed. It's not. Thorne placed the evidence bag back into his coat pocket with care. Miss Davenport, he said, and his tone had shifted again, not warning exactly, more like strategy. From this moment, you do nothing on your own. Ellie held his gaze. I've already done something. Yes, Thorne said, and it was useful. Now it becomes dangerous. Ellie's mouth tightened. What are you going to do? She asked. Thorne picked up the Orchard Project packet. I'm going to interview the current trust board, he said, and I'm going to interview Richard Harrow again. And if they deny everything, then I find what Lumley found, Thorne said, voice calm and implacable, because someone doesn't kill over metaphor. He turned toward the door, then paused. And Ellie, he added, using her first name for the first time, as if it had slipped out against his better judgment. If you receive another message, you call me. Immediately. Ellie's pulse ticked at the sound of her name in his voice. I will, she said quietly. Thorne nodded once and left. The bell chimed softly behind him. Sam exhaled. Well, he said, voice pitched low. We're officially in the part of the story where people start pretending they're fine while absolutely not being fine. Ellie's phone buzzed. She froze for half a second before pulling it from her pocket. Another message. Unknown number. He should have left it alone. So should you. Ellie stared at the screen, then looked toward the window. Outside, the art screen sat under a pale sky, the plaque catching light like a polite lie. Sam peered at her face. Is it? Yes, Ellie said, and her voice was steady now, steadier than she felt. It is. She turned the screen toward him. Sam read it, then swallowed. They're escalating, he whispered. Ellie slipped the phone back into her pocket. Yes, she said, because we're getting closer. Sam stared at her as if she just admitted to enjoying danger. Ellie didn't enjoy it, but she recognized it. This wasn't simply a dead author and a village scandal. This was a pattern of threats leading to action. And somewhere within it was a missing signed copy, a removed dedication line, and a piece of truth someone had decided was too disruptive to exist. Ellie reached for Lumley's memoir and opened it again. To those who remember the orchard. She traced the words lightly with her finger. Then we remember, she murmured. Outside, Ashwood carried on pretending it was tidy. Thanks for listening. Join me next time for Chapter 8.